Dr.SHIVA. All right. Why doesn't people come in closer? You guys want to come over closer? Yes, there's no 6-foot distance rule anymore. All right? Come on in, everyone. We have more people coming, more speakers, but as Jerry and John said, come on in, everyone. Come on in closer. Meet your neighbors. We need to build community. We need to come together to this best moves. But we need to build a bottoms-up movement. And I have many questions that I want to ask each one of you before I share with you my thoughts. The first question is, are you ready to fight for you? Are you ready to fight for you? Are you ready to fight for you? There are misleaders in this movement for the last 3 years who have been doing negotiations with the scumbags over there and have been misleading this movement repeatedly. And you know who I'm talking about. These people have taken our spirit, they've taken our power, and they've given it to scumbags. And that is a technical term. And if people have a problem with that, you can look up what it really means. But we're here today because in 2019, if you go look at the history, this movement called out the need to build the immune system. I gave a series of lectures educating all of you. This is about building immunity. Number one, this movement in March of 2020, we ran the Fire Fauci campaign. I didn't see Robert Malone there. I didn't see Robert Kennedy there. I didn't see Trump there. It was this movement. Had we organized in March of 2020, we wouldn't be in this freaking situation today. But the misleaders in this movement watch which way the wind blows. And then they come in a year later. Rand Paul being an example. Today he's running a Fire Fauci campaign. Cha-ching, 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 asking you for donations. Robert Kennedy's book is plagiarized from all of our work, and he makes money. Robert Kennedy endorsed Hillary Clinton not once, not twice, but 3 freaking times. Have you heard enough about this? Yet, the people over there keep pushing the freaking guy Kennedy. Why do you expect a billionaire to deliver you freedom? Is that possible? I don't think so. Trump just 2 weeks ago on Fox News said you must embrace the vaccines. You see, Biden hits you with a stick, and Trump gives you the carrot. You see how the establishment works? The carrot and the stick. It is only the working people of this country or the world that can ever defeat the establishment. And history shows that. Go look back at the 1800s and the 1900s. It was a working woman of Lowell, Massachusetts. It was a working woman of this country which organized bottoms-up movements. Nothing was ever given to us. And when those movements grew, powerful, roaring movements that scared the shit out of the establishment, what did the establishment do? Go read history. Because by the 1900s, we started getting sanitation, hygiene, elimination of child labor. Those weren't given to us by the Kennedys or the Rockefellers or the left or the right. It came from people putting the fear of God into people in power. And in return for that, we started getting public health. Long before the measles vaccines came in 1963, by 1948, 98% of measles mortality was wiped out. That was from infrastructure. You guys follow what I'm saying? It was those bottoms-up movements of men and women. And by the 1950s, the right wing branded those movements. Anytime you said workers unite, they called those movements communists. So they created the anti-communist rhetoric. And the left wing took over those movements, and they created top-down, bottoms-up unions controlled by the Democrats. During 1900 to 1970, there were 100 million people who struck in over 11,000 strikes, working people. It was the American working class putting the fear of God into these fuckers behind us. That is how we got public health. And today, starting in 1970 to today, both the left wing and the right wing crushed the workers' movements of this country. So we only had about 900 strikes and 2 million workers. Our movement, Truth, Freedom, and Health, is wants to rebuild the working class movement of this country, because it is only when working people unite. And we're not here for some fake unity. Some people don't want us to expose Robert Kennedy or Trump. I gave him a lot of money. I'm sure a lot of you guys did. Frank is going to speak. We put up 10,000 signs for Trump. We've all been betrayed by the left and the right. We need to build a movement bottoms up. There can be no compromise. Do not follow these organizations to say, well, Bobby's a nice guy. You know, he did this and that. Fuck Bobby Kennedy. Fuck Donald Trump. It is only the bottoms-up movement that has ever built anything. Look to your shoulders, to your nearby neighbors. It is the movement of working people. Beyond left and right, beyond black and white, working people unite, truth, freedom, and health. Beyond left and right, beyond black and white, working people unite, truth, freedom, and health. Beyond left and right, beyond black and white, working people unite, truth, freedom, and health. Those four phrases are powerful phrases. And if you can really absorb those phrases and start having dignity for yourselves and recognize that we need to build a bottoms-up movement, nothing is going to come from lawsuits because judges are paid and bought for. Nothing is going to come from elections because elections are selections. It is only going to come when we organize militant, bottoms-up movements and put the fear of God not into these people, but across the street. What do I mean by that? Across the river. We should stop protesting in these places ever again. The real enemy is in Kendall Square. Moderna and Pfizer are making $65,000 per minute, $1,000 per second. The misleaders in our movement keep having us beg to some stupid mayor and some stupid governors. They're all puppets, guys. Nubar Afayan, head of Flagship Ventures, Bob Langer, a former advisor of mine, they have made $7-8 billion. The enemy is not here. The enemy is in Kendall Square. Let me repeat that again. The enemy of working people are not these prostitutes behind us. That's what they are. Don't go begging to prostitutes. As Malcolm X would say, these are the house slaves. We're the field slaves. Why are the field slaves begging to the house slaves? Let's go to the master who's across the river. That's where the master is. Tomorrow, we're going to have a massive protest right in Kendall Square. We're going to march right into Pfizer and Moderna's offices. Working people work there, bottle washers, custodians. We need to organize those people to strike. We need to shut these guys down. And it's not going to happen through passing bills. It's not going to happen through giving your donations to Children's Health Defense Fund, run by Robert Kennedy, who was on Lolita Express with a child trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein. You cannot, that is why we're in this condition today. We're in a condition where working people's wages since 1970 have been cut by half, why Jeff Bezos and all these billionaires, 600 billionaires, double their wealth by $2.3 trillion. Start looking at the dollars. Stop following misleaders. We cannot afford to do it anymore. You have to look to a truck driver, an electrician, a welder, an engineer, a scientist, a healthcare worker. Why do you follow billionaires? Why? Because the brainwashing that takes place by mainstream media to make you think the Kardashians and the Kennedys and the celebrities are better than you. We have to do some soul searching in our own brains. Why do we let ourselves be abused? It's like a woman who gets beaten up. Oh, but he brought me flowers one day. Oh, Robert Kennedy said some nice stuff. Trump did a few things. We can't be beggars anymore. We have to lift ourselves up, and we have to start fighting on principles. And it's truth, freedom, and health. Without freedom, we cannot get to truth. Without freedom, we cannot get to truth. And it is the censorship infrastructure in this country that our lawsuit exposed. We do not have the First Amendment anymore. It is gone. The unholy alliance of government and big tech that our lawsuit exposed, The judge got so afraid of my lawsuit, he sealed the lawsuit, even after he won many wins. Let me repeat that again. A federal judge censored a lawsuit, a free speech lawsuit. Can you get that? And then, when you stop freedom of speech, you no longer have science. And I know this. I got every degree at MIT. We don't have science anymore. We don't have science anymore in this country. The science ain't settled. The truth is the immune system is a very complex system. Because of its complexity, one size does not fit all. What's right for you may not be right for you. So here in Massachusetts, we talk about inclusivity and diversity, yet we don't want to talk about the diversity of the immune system and the biological diversity. To tell everyone they should get the exact same vaccine or the exact same medicine, that's anti-science. So we need to go down to the biological aspects of this. We can't be paying these stupid freaking lawyers, stupid lawsuits, lose, 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 lose. 99% of lawyers are dumb. Sorry, they are. Most of them are. It is time that all of us learn how to fight and we build a bottoms-up movement. And it's great to see the police and the first responders and working people and truckers and other people rising up. This is what needs to be done. And that's why we're at a historic opportunity that has never occurred before, because a movement like Truth, Freedom, and Health has not existed. Typically, you have the establishment and the not-so-obvious establishment. And I know this from a country that I came from called India. When working people rising up, bottoms up in India, wanted to kick out the British, they found this fool who got made to be a great guy called Gandhi. Gandhi was a not-so-obvious establishment. He was a racist. He thought black people were savages. He was an elitist. He was a pedophile. He was all sorts of things. But the establishment put a beautiful white robe on him, spectacles, a spinning wheel. They changed his name from Mohandas K. Gandhi to Mahatma, which means great one, Jesus Christ. This is how powerful the establishment is. They create your heroes, top down. RFK Jr. Okay? Endorsed Hillary Clinton 3 times. Writes a book against Fauci. Plagiarized from our stuff. They create top-down leaders. Donald J. Trump. Lock her up. Did he lock her up? It's time that we working people get smart and we let go of these not-so-obvious establishment leaders. And that is when we have a real movement. The anti-war movement in this country exploded when the young people broke from the Democrats and the Republicans. Until then, the Vietnam War continued. It is when we break from the Republicans and the Democrats, the Trumps and the RFKs, and you go among yourselves and you build a bottoms-up movement, that is when we will win. Otherwise, this vaccine mandate bullshit is going to get worse and worse and worse. So anytime someone comes and tells you, well, Bobby did this, Bobby did that, Trump did this, he did this, start thinking about yourself. Well, maybe I'm that abused woman who once in a while the guy brings you some flowers, but he beats the shit out of you, and you keep excusing him. This abuse mentality, we have to stop. We have to have dignity in ourselves. Does that make sense? Yes. You guys understanding what I'm saying? Yes. Are you ready to build a freaking movement? Yes. I'm talking about a movement that is scared the hell out of the establishment, that they will never dare again to push anything called the vaccine mandate. That is what we need to do. We need to put the fear of God into them. And it's not going to come from a fucking lawsuit. It's not going to come from a fucking bill. It's not going to come from running for election. It's going to come from you. It's going to come from you. Truth, freedom, and health. 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 Okay, come on up. All right. We have anyone else who wants to speak. Talk to Jerry. We have an electrician coming up here. Where's Frank?